the Talk the Walk podcast. My name is China Black, the icon, and I'm sitting here today with the beautiful, legendary Hollywood Kush. And here at the Talk the Walk podcast, we read receipts to prove that we don't ever have to again. Models Inc. 2010 through 2016, winning awards such as Stage Presence of the Year 2015, Captain of Flowers Couture High School 2011 to 2013, Head Coach of Flowers Couture 2015 through 2024, has modeled and danced for events such as New York Fashion Week, DC Fashion Week, Golden Scissors Awards, and the DC Wizards Dance Company. Captain of Kush Models 2013 through 2015, now the present CEO of Kush Models, producing shows such as Code, LSS, and showcases such as The Love Chronicles. Re-established Bowie chapter of Kush Models University in 2023 to the current day. Ball after ball, in and out of state, trophy after trophy, from statement to undeniable superstar to being deemed an unstoppable force and one of the newest legends in our scene, the legendary Hollywood Kush.
Wow.
On
paper, that sounds cute, right?
Cute. Welcome.
Cute. Thank
to
you
the
for
Talk the
having
Walk
me.
podcast.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Look, it's been a long time
It's been a long journey. I was looking at that thread. It's been some years to leave it. Like, it's been time.
But I am so excited to hear your story and to just touch bases and let everybody know who you are.
Period.
Are you ready?
I am. I'm excited to be here.
Let's get started. Give me 3 words to describe Hollywood.
Focused.
Okay.
Determined and cozy.
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 Why cozy?
I'm somebody, I like to be comfortable, and I like to make other people around me comfortable too. So like that's the type of person, that's the type of vibe I like to provide to like anybody. So I feel like that's just me, and that's the new Holly. Like she's cozy, she's cozy. Comfortable, she's like in her right shoes. She has on the right hair. Like,
you definitely have on the right hair. The beat is beating. The face is sitting. The body is bodying.
I try.
Where are you today mentally on a scale from 1 to 10?
I'm at a solid 7.
A 7?
I'm in a solid 7.
Okay, why 7?
I think that I have room to grow mentally. I think that I still am learning so much about myself, and I think that not to get too much into it, but I feel reincarnated almost to where like I have to rebuild my mental to a certain place. So I'm there. I'm getting there, and I have support. I have great support around me. So it's like it makes it easier. But I feel like right now mentally a 7 because I'm balancing a lot. But it's good things. It's good things.
Okay, that's good. I was at a 2 yesterday.
You were at a 2 yesterday?
At a 9 right now.
You're at a 9?
Just
that's good. It's just right.
Go by the day, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Take me to the best moment of your childhood.
I'm gonna be honest. Shout out to my parents. I have so many. I grew up in a household. I have 3 older sisters, so it's kind of like a full house. A mom, dad. It's 4 kids. So I'm the youngest. So I would say, honestly, my first time at a fashion show.
Really?
Yeah, and my father, a lot of people don't know, my father produces major events in DC. He does production, inauguration. He used to do catwalk classes with Fuji and a bunch of things with Glenn Jackson. And so I think my first time at a fashion show, I went to Teens Count. Him and I can't remember the producer's name, but he worked closely with her to help produce that too. And that was my first time at a fashion show, and I was with my dad, and we were chilling, and it was celebrities and things like that there. So I think that's probably one of my favorite memories because I got to see production side from him, and then also it made me want to get on that stage.
How old were you?
I think I was like probably 9 at that time. I was real young. I was probably like 9. Yeah.
Okay, so your father is into production, so you've always been like a part of seeing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's really amazing. Okay, so what is the worst part of your childhood that you can remember?
Anytime in middle school. I don't know why middle school is always such a weird period for everybody, but for me, it was the most odd period I've ever lived in my life. And I still remember, being 12 and 13, like I was really like trying to figure out who I was, and then I thought I found that person, right? And it still took me a long time to even find that person. But I think between that time, it was all like going to school. I hated going to school at that time, and I was a great student. Like I didn't have bad grades, but I didn't want to go to school. I was sleepwalking at night. Like my mother used to have to help me to sleep sometimes. Yes, like I was going through a lot of like mental things, and I still to this day really don't know what it was. But yeah, that was probably the hardest time for me as a child, like that 12 to 13, to 12 to 14 probably era, into like probably like 10th grade in high school when I started to become more comfortable.
Okay, and what school is this? Middle school?
I went to Couture Middle School in Largo.
Oh, you was in Maryland.
Yeah, I'm a PG kid.
Okay,
I'm
PG.
A
Okay,
kid.
We see you. Kettering. Okay, well no shout out to Kettering.
No shout out to Kettering.
You just didn't do your job. Okay. What was growing up for you like as a whole?
As a whole, once again, shout out to my parents. I think it was great. I would say I just come from, I would say like a regular middle class family where like, my father, like I said, was in production. So like he would travel a lot, but he was still very involved in full time. Then my mom was an educator. She's a teacher. So we were very focused. We had a lot to do. But I think it was good. It was good. I love my sisters. They helped me so much. I have like 3 extra mothers because of them. So I was very taken care of. And I came in at a point where my parents were like older, because my older sister is almost 10 years older than I am.
Wow.
So like I came in at a point where my parents were like, way more comfortable in their parenting. So it was like, it was a lot easier on me. And at that time I was their only boy. Okay. So of course I had a little bit more freedom than my sisters had. So I think my childhood was great.
About your dancing as a child, because you have danced like all your life, right?
Yes.
So what was dancing like as a child?
So, I'm really self-taught when it comes to dancing. So I didn't really, because once again, when you raise as a boy, they put you in other things. They don't think that, you want to branch out and do, your parents just don't know. Like, I don't blame my parents. They come from regular backgrounds too. So they didn't really know how to gauge me as a child, because I wasn't showing who I was just yet. So, I started, of course, in sports. Like soccer was my thing. I love me some soccer. Really? Yes, I used to be really good at soccer. Wow. I hated other stuff like football. Cool. And I was starting to get a little taller towards like high school, so people thought I was gonna play basketball. Never that. Just a model baby, a model body. Not a basketball body. But when I was younger, I started dancing through like summer programs, like summer camps.
Okay.
And so like they would have like these big dance programs at the end, like a competition, and each camp would compete against each other. And like we would literally like get together, like me and the other camp kids, and like make our own dances, and like our coaches were like the staff. They would help us like put it all together and things like that. And so that was probably like 8 years old, like my first competition. That was my first time like really like dancing like with a whole group. But before that, like my family used to always make me do like Michael Jackson and Usher like at every was you killing it? I was killing it. I could used to do the little one leg split, like the little kick. Y'all see?
I can see you actually killing it.
I was doing it, and like I remember I even danced like a school program like by myself. Like I went out there alone and did like a whole like Usher and Michael Jackson mix. Like I used to mix my own music because my father's like really into music, so I learned how to do that at like 7, 8 years old. But yeah, once I started with that dance program over the summer, like I didn't want to stop dancing ever. I did not want to ever stop dancing. And then I ended up becoming one of the camp counselors that would like help the kids now and coach them through the dance. So like I kind of made like a 360 thing, but from there on, like I just wanted to dance and dance everywhere I could. So I just tried different teams and here and there, but nothing that was like longevity, because I knew I wanted to be a model too. So I was like, I gotta find a way to mix these.
Did you see modeling before your father took you, or you like saw like Naomi Campbell or like the runway shows with Victoria's Secret? Like what made you want to model?
So I used to like without the scenes, so like top model, watching America's Next Top Model with my mom and Project Runway, because my family is crazy. My mother also designs clothes. Oh wow. So she's really into fashion. So she loves everything about fashion. So like she made all my sisters' prom dresses. Like she's made dresses for me, and suits back in the day, but dresses for me now. So she used to be really into like fashion stuff. So like that would be our thing. Like we would sit and we watch Top Models together, and I would watch J Manuel and the rest of them just like coach these girls. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to be on the runway too. Like I want to get on the stage because like I just like the way they looked. I like the fashion and the fast lane and everything that they had together, and changing look like the makeover episode when they would have to get their look changed. Yes. That was my favorite. I couldn't wait for that part. I could not wait for that part to see them transform. So like that was my first vision of seeing like real fashion or models that made me want to get into it before I even seen or knew what the scene was.
You did hair shows with Glenn Jackson. So tell me about that experience. Shout out
to the icon of the city. Doing the hair shows were good. Naturally, I have a lot of hair, so a lot of people used to like to play in it and do different things to it. So I remember having my hair dyed bloodshot red and all these different things. But it was like a lot of fun doing the hair shows. It taught me a lot because it was like so many different age groups. Like you're sitting there and you're like 13, 14 years old. Then it's like somebody over there that's 33. It's somebody over there that's 6 years old. Like it's so many different people. So it helped me network before I even knew what networking was and talk to different people and get my face out there. And that's how a lot of people started to know me and see me because I was like doing all these hair shows because my dad was getting me in them because he's like, okay, you want to model? Like that's my parents. Like if you want to do something, you're going to be the best at it. So go ahead and do it and we'll figure it out later. But very supportive into like my hair was red and he was like, you got to dye that hair to fuck back before you got to school.
This hair show and you got on stage, just lights, everything like. What's going through your head? Like I've arrived, or I'm nervous, or
that adrenaline, that first high of like, oh my gosh, like I'm addicted to this now. Like this is my addiction. Like I'm not addicted to sitting at home and just surfing the web like when you're little no more. Now I'm about to go home. And that's when I started. It was like I'm about to go home and research everything about this lifestyle. Like I want to know every last thing about DMV modeling and modeling period, and I want to make this into a science where I can understand it and where I can now invest that back into me so I can invest it into others. Like that was always my plan. Like
at what age are
this is like 10, 11 years old now because I think the scene really just started really popping. Like y'all was already out on YouTube and things like that. But so I was doing these hair shows and I was meeting some scene people that I didn't know were in the scene just yet. And then I remember going back to Teens Count, and this year I think Models Inc. was a part, and they had like a bunch of their people coming out that were like Miss Black America, Miss Black DC, and all these other things, and they had these jackets on. They was all in black. They had their boots on. I'm looking like, this is like a freaking army of bad bitches that I need to be a part of. Like, why do I know about this life? And I'm seeing these people and I'm like, I recognize her from the hair show and I seen her from the hair show and she had her on a crown and she had on a sash and he was there and, he's like, like he looks like me and I'm like, I need to do this. Like, I need to be a part of this. So that's where it started, like doing those hair shows and seeing these people and I'm like, what are these people a part of? Like, how are they coming in so good? Like, how are they getting in these firms already without any other connections? Like, I had my dad getting in this firm, but how the fuck did they get in here?
So you were just fascinated and
ready. I was fascinated. I was so ready. And I was like, once I get home, I'm getting right on YouTube. I'm going to find all these people.
Wow.
And I started to do that. I was a fan of the scene before anything first. Like, I really became a fan of it.
When do you feel like you knew that you were different?
I think that once I got to high school, in middle school, of course, like I said, I was going through all that mental stuff, and people in middle school will remind you that you were different. A lot of people used to tease me in middle school for looking foreign, like they would call me Mexican and all these other things. So I used to look a little bit more like, I guess, Pedro-ish because of my hair. A little, right? They couldn't take. That's how they couldn't take.
They was not having it, honey.
But they used to tease me down, and then I was a little bit chubby, like here and there. Someone used to feed me well, or I was her baby. And so then once I went to high school, I started getting more tall and thinning out, and I started cutting my hair different, wearing my hair a little bit different, and everybody's like getting into me. So that's when it's like, I gotta be different because like the people that like me, I don't like them back. Like the girls that's liking me right now, I don't really like them. I'm not really seeing a future in that. And in ninth grade, like I'm gonna be real, I had a girlfriend. Like shout out to Destiny.
Come on, Destiny. Hi, Destiny.
Hi, Destiny. She's gay now too.
Wow.
But yeah, I had a girlfriend and things like that. But I was really faking the funk because I just feel like that's what everybody around me was doing. But that's when I knew, like, ninth grade, I'm different. 'Cause, like, high school's way bigger.
Mhm.
I went to Flowers High School, so it was a lot of people from a lot of different areas. And girls back then didn't mind clocking your team. Once if they could see it on the outside, they're gonna say something, and it started to like resonate with me. Like, okay, I am a little like, I guess, like, I am a little different.
With you, did you ever date women and feel like you liked women, or it just never registered that way at all?
I don't think it ever.
No,
It never resonated. Like, it never resonated. Shout out to Destiny.
I have a real quick gaggy question. Have you ever had sex with a woman?
I've never been sexually active with a woman.
Never.
Not
a little.
I'll be honest. I was not a fast kid. Like the same way I researched the modern stuff. Like I had to research the rest of that stuff too, but that came later in my head.
You was a researcher.
I was a researcher, girl. I need to know what I'm getting into before I get into.
No kisses, no kiss.
I would kiss. I would kiss her, but it wasn't like.
He was over it.
It was not invasive. It was
keep it cute.
Yeah, keep it cute.
Look,
like
girl, I'm doing you a favor
I'm
now,
doing you a favor because I had to look. So the girls, they see like, okay, yeah, she, got to look like tall, curly hair. They used to live for that look. Mm-hmm. But it's like, girl, I'm trying to see what time you getting that nails done.
Would you consider yourself like a childhood star?
I am a childhood star. I think I am somebody who always seeks stardom. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm somebody who's been a star of my own family. Mm-hmm. Just, as us sitting at the dinner table, I'm the star of the family. But yeah, I would consider myself a childhood star. Because I think I put in the work as a child. And I started pretty young.
Definitely.
Doing these things. And of course, I had the parents, I had the Matthew Notes and the Tina Notes behind me to help me production-wise and to sew some clothes if I needed them.
No shade.
But, yeah, I think I'm the childhood star.
Okay. Yeah. I see that. I definitely literally thought that. And I was like,
let me write that down. That's a good question.
Okay, so Flowers Couture. So we're in high school. Mm-hmm. How did you find out that was happening? Because Flowers was already a modeling team before I got there. Tell me a little bit about that.
Me and my older sister, she's 3 years apart from me. So when I was a freshman, she was a senior. So she's friends with all like the girls that were modeling, like Famada and Marcellus and Kiera. Like she was cool with India, all of them. And so I remember like first day of school, like I met Couture because she was around them, and seniors, they went to IHOP the first day of school, something like that. So we went there. She met all of them. I'm seeing these girls like holding heels and these boys like holding their boots. I'm like, what they about to do? Like, we going to school? Like, what's going on? And so once we get to school, and then a couple weeks later, homecoming, and so it's a homecoming show. And I go to the show with my sister. She's like, come to the show. So I'm like, I don't have no friends at the time. I'm in ninth grade. And so I went to the show with my sister, and I'm seeing like Flowers Couture. And I'm like, wow, like I'm seeing Famada with her short cut, but bedazzled dress on, Kiera leaning back. Like shout out to my sister, shout out to my mother. I'm seeing like all the people on stage, Denzel, like everybody on stage. And so I'm looking at it. Flowers Couture, we got the heavy hitters if you want to talk about it. But yeah, so I was watching, I'm like, the first thing I said, China, is, I can't do this. Like that's the first thing when I looked at it, I was like, I cannot do what they like. Once I seen what the boys was doing, I was like, that's what they're gonna put me at. I was like, I don't even know how to be that gay if I try right now. Like that shit was not in me yet. I was like, I have not done the research. And so I seen it and I was like, this is cool, but it's not for me. So I did not join Flowers Couture initially. I did not go there first. I went to try out for Models Inc. I remember the first question that Bang had asked me, because when you try, you fill out all this stuff. Mind you, I was not of the correct age. Okay. I was 15 at the time. I think I was like 14 turning 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you had to be 16 at the time to be on Inc. It was no Inc. Kids just yet. And so I'm lying on the thing. I'm putting this stuff down, saying, yeah, I'm a sophomore. Yeah, I'm this. And so when I get in there, they have the papers, that you put out. So Bang's looking at my paper. He's like, looking at me, and he's like, you not on Flowers Couture? And I was like, no. He said, but right here, so you go to Flowers. And I was like, I do go to Flowers, but I'm not on Flowers Couture. But he was like, you a sophomore though. And I was like, I'm really a freshman. He's like, so you've been there, so you've seen Flowers Couture, so why you not on Flowers Couture?
It's giving interrogation.
And I'm like,
very much interrogation.
I'm like, well, I looked at it and I really didn't think it was for me. So the whole room go, ooh, just like that. And so Bang was like, well, I think tomorrow you should see what Flowers Couture talk about when you go to school. I was like, okay. Mind you, it was snowing down outside, so like next day we didn't have school. I get back to school the next week. I'm sitting in biology at the time, and Kiara comes up to me, the legendary Kiara.
Shout out to the legendary
Shout out
Kiara.
to you. She comes up to me and she's like, I heard you went to ink tryouts. I'm like, how does these people know I went to Models Ink tryouts? Yeah, she's like, how was it? And she was like being real nice about it. So I was like, yeah, it was this, was that, it was great. And so she's like, okay, well, couture practice is tonight. And I said, okay, well, I got ink practice tonight too now. She was like, well, couture practice is before. Like, it starts right after school from 2:30 to whatever, like 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever time. So I was like, she's like, just be there. And then she walked away. And so then my friend Toby was like, are you going to come? Are you going to come to couture? And so then I went to couture tryouts and I sat and I watched it. And then I got up and I just got into it. And from there, I didn't leave.
How was ink for you?
It was great. I think I have multiple eras of it because I was trying out so young and then I stopped and I didn't have a name yet. So when I first went, I was, you could, back then you could try to find ink for however long until they give you a name. Mm-hmm. And so like I would go and then I would stop and I would come back. And then finally like the beginning of my senior year, end of my junior year in high school type time, I went back to ink and I was like fully committed and I ended up getting my name before I graduated. It was just up and it was stuck. Like I was diehard ink. Like I was incredible. Everything was changing. The names once I became Hollywood. It's like once I got that jacket on, that black and that yellow, like I felt so different. It was not easy. It was not an easy journey. I don't think anything should be. I think it was definitely something that molded me to become like the type of leader I wanted to be. It helped me learn the type of people I wanted to have around me. It helped me learn the type of person that I was. It helped me grow in just so many different places, like as far as just artistry and, wanting to go for things and wanting to do things. Like they were pushers. Like they would push you to get to different places. And that type of energy is good. And it was a little different for me than others because I have 2 role parents that I look up to. So to have 2 more parents to now look up to that are going to push you just as much as your real parents intimidated me at first. I'm like, I have a father. Like, I got him out there. Like, like that's how I was at first. Like, I come from, like, I live where the pools and the trees are. Like, I don't need, but, like, which is why they named me I Ass Hollywood. But it just really, like, pushed me to, like, get out there and help me be myself.
Where is your relationship with Bang and Mother today?
Now we're good.
Okay.
Arby, I'm just playing. They need that. I'm just playing. I let them down. Do they need that? I let them down. But yes, we still go out and we do things. Shout out to them. Those are like my scene parents outside of the Marcellus and the Kieras. So I love them. They're really comfortable to me now. I feel like as an adult, like they see me differently. Like it's like bro parents. Like once you grow up and you get off their care and you go on your own, then your relationship builds back up sometimes. Versus when you're in their household and they can just, really tell you what to do. Like when they can really tell you what to do. It's like, okay, well, I can't be around y'all all the time, but I love being with y'all. Cause like my first real Miami experience was with them. Like I grew up with them. Like I really did grow up with them. So it's like a lot of stuff like I cherish and I would cherish forever. And a lot of our memories are so good. And then when things even went bad, it was still like, okay, these are my parents. They are trying to protect me and do things. And even though we have business outside of things, so I think that kind of messes sometimes.
When did you start choreographing, like for Flowers or for ink, and like what is your choreography look like?
Okay, so after I joined Couture and I was on there for like 6 months, at the end of that 6 months, Couture was ending. Like we were supposed to do catwalk that year. You had came through and you taught a routine for us to learn, and then we couldn't even buy. You're like everyone. And then they ended Couture, and so then at the end, I was still on ink, and so Marcellus looked at me. He was like, "You're gonna be captain next year." I was like, I'm gonna be captain next year. Like, I just joined this team 6 months ago. It's other people here. Like, it was like, you gonna be captain. Like, you, Brene, and Jubilee. Like, y'all gonna be captain. I was like, bet. So right then and there, over the summer, me, Jupes, and Brene, we used to link up, and I started to learn from them because Jubilee was already in organization. Brene was already in Living Legends too, and so like I started to learn from them, and we were choreographing for our homecoming show.
Okay.
And so that was my first time putting together a piece, and then I got to practice when the year started, and I told it to my boys and my team and everybody else that was there. And that was my first time, and I think the style at that point was repetition. It was repetitive. I was just throwing what I seen, and I was putting it all together because at that time I didn't really know how.
That's very honest.
Yeah, I didn't know how modern choreography should look, so I was doing my research, bring it on with Big Red. I was doing my research, and I was like, okay, I like that move, I like that move, I like that move. And I'm gonna put them together, and then I'm gonna add something. This is my thing. I'm gonna add my little signature up in there, and I'm gonna put them all together, and it's gonna look brand new. It's a different song. We don't have a different outfits, right? So back then, that was my style. My style was just conjoined with so many others. Like I was watching Living Legends at that time. I was on Ink, so I could, see things that Bang was doing. I was, seeing other things that I did like. So that was my style at the time, to just grab stuff because I didn't know what to do. But then after that, I kept choreographing, and so I started to find my own signatures, and I started to understand like how crafting a choreography piece, like how important it was to really sit there and craft it and have your own signature and let it be yourself and let the choreography speak through the music and be able to actually perform it, make it performative. Like don't just make it moves, like make it move through the moves, like dance through these moves and groove to it. So like music was always my thing, like my father. So like I would sit over the summer after I kept stealing for that whole year. Over the summer I would sit and I would play different music and I would get up and I would freestyle. That was my thing. I would record myself and I would freestyle and whatever I liked at the moment. Now I'm gonna sit still for myself. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that out there. I'm gonna take that out that freestyle. I'm gonna play, and I would play any song. So it could be a cunt beat, it could be Mary Mary, it could be Beyonce, it could be any song, just so I can get some moves in my body, some moves in my head, some different things, so it doesn't start to look like everybody else. I want to find my own style, and I still do that to this day when it comes to choreography. Like I would turn on Janet real fast, and I would freestyle to Janet real quick and get some inspiration before I make a piece for a cunt beat. And it has nothing to do with each other. Like they're completely separate, but it's like the feeling that I just got from that song. I want to bring that type of essence to that. So I'm gonna freestyle to it and see how I can mix it all together. So that's what started, and then seeing other choreographers choreograph, like seeing Marcellus choreograph and seeing Bang choreograph and seeing how they're so different. Like this is all one scene, but it's completely like evidently different. So I was like, I need to find that. I need to have that so where I don't look like Ink, I don't look like this, and it's not like, oh well, Harley's just of course Bang's child, of course it's gonna look like the same. Like I want to find my own style, and I knew I could do it.
What made you leave the team?
Leave Models Inc. Kush Models Entertainment LLC.
Period. I don't have to ask any more questions about that. Okay, so was it a smooth transition?
For me, it was a smooth transition. So I can tell a story. I'll make it quick. So I was producing a show for Kush at the time, and Kush was still at Bowie State University. And we were having our first big choreography show. So like I said, I never really got to do a whole piece for Ink before, and I really haven't, Couture was in the past. So it's like, okay, now it's my time to show my new choreography style. So I was so invested into it at the time, and I had probably over 100 members on Kush at the time. So I was very invested and focused on Kush because it was now mine, and it was passed down to me from Pomada and Marcellus, the same thing, same way Couture was. And so I was like, I gotta put my all into this because I have something to prove. I feel like I have something to prove here. And so I was so invested into that. But Ink at the time, we were also doing a huge, it was like our 10-year anniversary. So we were doing like the decade show. And so it was like a lot going on. Like we had to travel to Baltimore for certain practices. And it's like a lot going on for me doing both. And then I was a full-time student. I was working full-time still. And, I'm still trying to live a life of my own. I'm 20 years old at the time. And so, I was at practice. I was at Kush practice, and we were putting the final touches on a show, and I'm just sitting there like, look what the fuck I just did. Like, look at my work on this stage. Like, I want to take this further.
Yeah.
I can't stop here. And like my team, like the way they trusted me, the way they would lean in on me, the way I started to form my own children and have my own kids and have people that looked up to me, it made me feel like, did I do everything I needed to do at Ink? Have I completed that journey? Like I started to feel like, okay, I feel like I closed that door, and I just started to see so many different people that came to Ink that were like baby Harleys. Like baby Harley was like they came either because of me or to dance with me or to be around, Models Ink. Period. So I'm like, I feel like I've not giving them what they needed because they don't need nothing from me because they got everything they need. But I feel like I've given enough to that experience to where I can move on from here to the next level. And I was like, I became such a leader in Models Inc. And I've been given, so many leadership to the point where I started to lead in ways where it's like, Harley, this is not your company. Like, you can't say this here. You can't do this here. You can't go about this way here. You can't clean up stuff when it messes up here because it's not yours. Even though you're the lead, one of the leaders, and you're one of the crowns of the year, whatever it's called for. At the end of the day, it's their vision. It's Mother and Bank's vision. It's their hard work. It's their 10 years that they put into this. It's their, their black and yellow. Like it's everything it's theirs at the end of the day, and it always will be theirs, and that's respectable. But I knew I wanted something of mine. I'm like, okay, it's not for everybody because I haven't seen a lot of people do it. So I'm like, okay, for me to now leave Models Inc. and say I'm leaving and I'm about to start my own company, bitch, you're about to shake some realms. Like you're about to start some mess. Like I already knew, like you're about to start some drama. And then the fact that at the time I was supposed to be in that show, the Ink show. I had paid my show fee. I paid all my coins. I had every Ink apparel at the time. I even had extra stuff I was just paying for. I had even helped some of my brothers and sisters pay for their show fee for the show. Like I was just helping, doing my part just on the back end, like not even really talking about it. And that night, once Kush we had did our final run through for the show, I sat there and I told like my friends that was like there, like my other leaders, like Supreme and Blade and everybody else that was there, and I was like, y'all, I'm quitting Models Inc. They started cracking up. They started laughing like, bitch, stop lying. You was not quit. Like Ink is your life. Like girl, you was like my best friend like Ink is your life. Like you've been in that shit for forever. Like you're never gonna leave Models Inc. Like girl, you're so Models Inc. Like you have on a Models Inc. shirt right now. And I'm like, well, I'm cutting it off tonight. Like I'm gonna leave, and it's no bad. They were like, wow, like what's wrong? I was like, it's really nothing. It's me. It's not them at this point. It's me at this point. It's me feeling like either I've outgrown the experience or I'm ready to grow into another one.
Yeah. Sometimes it is like that for people who have extreme leadership roles and goals, right? Like you can't stay somewhere that, like I can't wear a pair of shoes that I can't fit no more. Right. So like, I have to keep moving. I had the same experience, not really the exact same, obviously, but being on the team and just feeling like I could do so much more. I really resonated with what you said about like, this is not your team. You can't go over there and tell this person, oh, it should be like this. Like, so if you want that, go get that. You know what I mean? So it's cool that you decided that. And sometimes it's not even a decision. It's like it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people that go through Ink are either superstars already or like pushed into being superstars. But the ones that are pretty much already superstars before they get there, they end up leaving to do more, right? And so shout out to Bang and Aaron for giving people creating the platform. So you're now the CEO of Kush. And you guys have been established since when?
So I established this as a LLC 2015.
2015. Yes. What do you think about Kush in the scene? And do you feel like Kush stands against teams such as Models Inc., Models Envy, UC?
Okay. What's the scene? But I think you said I stand for like where we are at in the scene. Yeah. So I think that right now my goal was to just have us be at a soft active if that makes sense.
Soft, active.
A soft, active. Like, we're active in the scene. We come out, we show face. I support. I make sure I'm at the events. If anything, I feel like I am the face of my own company, the face of my own brand. So myself and Supreme, we try to make sure, as counterparts, that we're out there in the scene, and we walk the balls, because I think that's the scene. When we talk about the scene, like, yeah, we come to the balls. As far as show productions, we've been trying to stay pretty consistent with the events that we've had. We do have some shows that have been postponed because of other things, but we've been trying to stay really active with that. But I think for the most part, our standpoint is just our own lane, creating our own lane, doing our own thing. Like, the same thing that everybody else probably says is they want to stay in their own lane, but I really and focus on that. I'm really just keeping my people tight knit and to have them do what they want to do in our company. And it's creative network. I don't have a modeling team. I feel like I have more of a creative network of people that I'm going to build, not just your modeling or your dance talent, but I have so much other talent in my group that we build upon. Like, we've created barbers, we created makeup artists, we created photographers. So it's like so many other things that I feel like my team does differently from others in the scene. And so, like, that's my goal, and that's where we are. And as far as standing up against the other teams, or other companies, excuse me, yeah, I think we definitely do in our own right. But once again, like, I don't feel like I compete with them.
Okay.
And I don't feel like they compete with us. And I think that we all have different goals. And it's clear whose goal is what.
Okay.
And so for me, my goals are a little different from theirs. And I think that they all do the best that they can in their own lane.
Okay, so I want to talk about a Kush performance. First of all, shout out to Kush for the showcases that you guys have been putting together for the teams, because as we know, there has not been a lot of competitions going on, and because that space has not been created, there has been other spaces created where the teams can come together and put on events, and one of those is the
Love Chronicles
that you guys have put on, that I've been to at least 2 of those shows, and I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed them.
Thank you.
The one that I was not able to go to, the most recent one, me and my best friend, Mark, shout out to my best friend, Mark.
Period.
We were watching the videos on the footage, and it was a choreography piece. I don't know where y'all did this in the show. It was your actual team, Kush Models, and y'all had on silver, and I remember it was like a ripple part, where the guy is going to one person and then they do something with him and then move. Okay. That shit, I remember saying to Mark, like, oh, they are going the fuck. That whole performance was absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely amazing. It was clean. The choreography was eating.
Thank you.
And I was just like really proud of y'all. I've never worked with Kush before. But I always watch y'all, and I always look at your choreography because Sindel is she the president of the team?
She's
or just the
first lady and vice president.
Okay, so that's my daughter, so I'm always making sure that I'm paying attention. And that performance was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And I feel like me and Trey think alike, because we had already been in the works to sit here, and he posted that clip like two weeks ago of y'all, and I was like, he has my brain.
He is.
Like, this shit is everything. Like, I mean, it really was a great piece from you guys. So big ups to Kush. Do you feel like your team has been as respected in the scene as you all have given respect?
No. But I think that because I think with and I'll speak on behalf of all of the newer companies, I think that we all have like been looked over, a couple of times by some people that are eons older than us. And I think that it's like, I look at it like a job. When you're at a job and it's like this manager here that's been here for 30 years, that's doing the same thing over and over. It's like, can she move out the way so somebody can move up to her spot? Like, can she go into it? Can she get another job by now? But can she retire? So I think it's a lot when it comes to being a new team, a new company, even a new legend. I think that it's like some seats where some people need to just move up or move out the way, and don't come for what's coming behind you, and don't be intimidated by it, because like we're coming with different intentions because like this is a new age. You know, we're all about being inclusive and different things. Like we don't speak to our models the same like how they used to, how we used to get spoken to. So it's like this is a new age, and I just remember sometimes where it's like even myself and Brandon, shout out to Brandon, CEO of UC,
Shout out to Brandon.
my brother, my baby. We had things happen between our companies where we handled it underneath the table quickly, just between me and him, because it's family. Like we look at each other
not
like family.
At the gas station.
Yeah, like right. No, we're not fighting. We're not arguing. We're not stabbing. We're not killing. We're not doing something. We're not talking any of those things. Like we're talking about it. We're getting it done, and we're making sure our kids are fine and our village is great. And he go back home. I go back home safe. Right. And I think, and so I remember something like that happened where we discussed it, and some of the older people wanted to outrage. You know, they wanted us to get into it. They wanted us to argue about certain stuff. And it's like, we're not some type of people. Like, this is not that age. So I think they don't respect the new ways that we're trying to implement and the new things that we're trying to, and how we're trying to grow. It's like, at the end of the day, we look at this now, and like back in the day, these were teams. Now they're companies, right? This is attached to my name. And so like, it's attached to my brand. So like, it means so much more than just recreational, right? You know, it's different.
So it's a lot of evolvement. I think we've talked about that a few times here on the couch, that things evolve. And when Living Legends was out, we were newer, and Exquisite was out, we were changing the scene. And with changing the scene, there was people who did not understand, right? That still sit in the spaces that they have created. And so it took a while for them to kind of see that what we were doing wasn't to take away from them, but just to spice things up, right? So it does take time. Things do take time to change, but I am always supportive of evolvement. So I'm just happy to see like what's next for the teams. This is a sidebar. I saw somebody in a practice video like jump in the air and spin. Like jumped in the air. Jumped in the air and spin, and then came down into like twist up steps. And I was like, okay. Because eventually, because I remember when I was in practice, and I used to try to do stuff where I would hold my leg up, and people do that now. You guys, so it just takes, everything will get different, and it'll get better. So I appreciate the changes and respect the changes that the teams have.
We appreciate that from an icon.
Thank you.
The rest of the icons align.
Quickly. Okay, so let me ask you this question. If you had to put your company in a competition with just one other company in the scene, which company would it be?
That's a good question, because I wanted all of them. I need that from everybody. I think it would be hot if I would Models Inc.
Okay, and why?
I think that would be cute.
Why would you choose Models Inc?
Because I come from there, so it's kind of like, let's see what these bitches got. I think it'll be cute. I think it'll be fun, and then like the way me and Brent things, you know, our minds pop off each other. I think, we will make it hot, and I think they will make it hot. Like they're gonna start some. They're gonna start some stuff.
You already know.
Yeah, that's need to be primetime TV though. I'm not doing that for
y'all gonna put some money out,
right?
Okay. Start a pot.
Let's
talk about your transition from wearing flats and doing choreography and runway to wearing pumps. Like, what was that like for you?
Excruciating. Child. But I think cause I would force myself to do it sometimes, because you know, when you're a coach and you are originally, you know, a boy coaching girls in heels, like I always want to know, in order for me to train them properly, I need to know a little bit about their pain, a little about what they're going through. So like I kind of had a little experience here and there doing it and put them in and getting out of them. But that just wasn't my category at the time. Like I wasn't in the heels, but I think, it took some time. It took some time for me, and it's still gonna take some more time. There's still a lot more stuff that I feel like I can do a lot better in a flat than in my pumps. But yeah, practice makes perfect for sure.
Do you like the way you look when you're in your pumps more than in the flats?
I love the way I look at my heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way I look at my heels.
Choreography in heels is chewing
It's
bricks.
chewing it.
Okay. So now choreographing for the girls, do you like feel like, okay, now understand that maybe y'all want to take your shoes off for a little bit, or are you still like keep your shoes on? Because I remember Bang was like very like keep your heels on.
Yeah.
Which when I started teaching, it was always keep your heels on. I don't care if your feet hurt or not.
Yeah.
So are you still in that mentality?
Always and forever will be keep your heels on. Hashtag heels stay on.
Hashtag heels stay on.
Only because, too, honestly, what Coach Shimon is, the moment you take them heels off and you dance off with them off and you put them back on, your feet gonna hurt 10 times more.
Exactly.
Like, you gonna go home crying. Like, in pain.
Yes. I think, too, like with the heels, if I choreograph something without my heels on, I already know that the things that I've done, I'm probably not going to do them the same when I put my heels on. Yeah. So like that whole transition of even teaching somebody, like the way you feel like you eating and bitch, I'm going off. Right. And they put them heels on, they be like, bitch, I'm falling off. Okay, so what would you say your rival has been in the scene? More so in like our ball scene.
In our ball scene. When the scene came back and was around, and we started to do more balls and stuff like that, they would make me battle Tony a lot. Tony Envy. Okay. Tony Envy. Okay. They would make me battle Tony a lot. So I was like, okay, we're gonna be doing this every night. We was like, it was on one night we in the club and they doing call outs and they making me battle him doing my call out. Like, girl, what my call out? Yeah, so me and Tony, shout out to Tony, love you down.
I love Tony.
But Tony, and I don't think I have a category anymore, so I don't think I have any current rivals.
Okay, so just Tony at that time.
At that time, like when the scene first getting back, and they was like, because back then they was calling us the Europeans because it was in trench. Struts was just now coming in,
right?
And so like the new kids wasn't my rivals; they was my
right. No shade. No shade. Okay, so I want to talk about your call outs because you brought that up too. I have seen a lot of your call outs. And I put one of your call outs in my opening video for talking.
Oh, right.
It always gives Hollywood. It always gives production. Like, bitch, everybody come on, move out the way. Like, let's see it, okay?
Let's see it.
And so you have, like, changed the way that, to me, the way that people get called out. Like, if you're there and you get your call out, after your call out, you'll see the difference in how everybody else tries to like, now I gotta, I gotta do my thing. Step it up or whatever. But I want to ask you, because that's not a question, that was just a comment.
Right, thank you.
The question is, where did the confidence come from?
This new confidence, I couldn't tell you. She's bottled up somewhere. Maybe she's in them pills and them shots. I don't know. Or maybe when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to really like what I see. I think the confidence really came from my support.
Okay.
From the people that always feel like, okay, I look up to you and all these other things, and I love you, and I want to be around you, and I want to learn from you, and not even just want to learn from you, but allow me to teach them. Like, it came from my kids. It came from my new support system. It came from everybody that, like, loves and cares for me. Like, that confidence is within them, and it just rubs on me. And they believe in me so much, like, when people believe in you so much and they're looking for you to be this person for them, it's like, it's fight or flight for me. Right. So it's like, I gotta fly. Like, I gotta go up. They're looking for me to go out there and set a tone. And so that's what I think about when I go out on the floor. It's like, I'm setting a tone for mine and for whoever else needs to be set tonight.
Right.
And so I try.
Your stage presence is so big, right?
Yeah.
So just getting to see you and hear you just lets the people get to see a different side of you, right? The new confidence for where you are now, I just feel like it's just even bigger than it was before. But I really think that you've always, that's the thing that has been such a standout about you, is that you've always been a presence. A presence,
yeah. So I knew how to turn it on, because naturally, like, I was a shy person. I was very reserved. Like, I didn't really talk too much. Even now I'm a tourist, I don't really talk a lot.
Oh, really?
I talk when I'm spoken to. Like, and I feel like when I leave Kush practice, I'm talking all day. Like, I get in my car, turn off all the music. I'm driving home to silence. Like, I'm not that type of person that's like too chatty, but then I went to school for communication. So then like it kind of built me to be this person to be able to like talk and open up and to be able to convey myself through my, communicating and talking. But naturally I was very shy. But the confidence came on. And
it's definitely be on, girl.
It gotta come on.
I get my life. When did you start to do your transition?
I transition. So transitioning is in pieces, and I tell people this all the time. Like, it's a physical thing, it's a mental thing, and then you have your medical things too. So mentally and physically to the public, I started to transition towards 2020, like towards the end of 2020. I was not on medicine just yet, but I was like socially transitioning, meaning like, okay, can you call me this instead of that? Like I'm correcting my pronouns, and things like that. I'm dressing a little different. I've always been really feminine. I've always been into makeup and into hair and things like that. So like I've always had like a more feminine-esque, about myself. Then I grew up in a household with all girls and my dad, but like my mom and my sister. So I've always been around women and ladies. So like I was already very feminine. And so then 2020 comes and we're stuck at home, right? And the world is shut down and life is different. And I'm already changing myself socially and talking to people to different things. But then now I'm back to where I was as a child. I'm doing that research again. I'm like, something is not right with me. And I thought I was happy and comfortable with who I am. So I used to praise myself for being confident and being a male and being feminine. Like I didn't care. A lot of gay people would talk down on feminine, masculine, feminine people that were boys, because like they think that, they don't really like it type of thing. But I was always very comfortable in who I was and confident on the outside and just shy and humble on the inside, just hoping somebody's gonna like it. But I liked it. And so when 2020 came, I started doing my research. I'm like, something's even more different about me than I knew before. Like something else has changed. Like it's some type of other eclipse. Something's going on here where it's like I'm comfortable but I'm not happy. I'm not fully sold on who I am. I feel like I'm lying to somebody. I'm not being honest. Like I want to be honest. I want to be open. I want to feel like myself again. And I was not feeling like myself at that time. I had gained a lot of weight. My skin was breaking out, and I was going through a lot of different things where it's like I don't really feel like myself, and I can't even invest into this person who I am no more because I don't even know who this person is, and I was compressing it by being around friends and still trying to go out even though we wasn't supposed to mask that. I was hanging around, my closest support system, my Blade and my Susie and my Henry, my son, and we started investigating and looking into things. And then me and Blade Santana were really, really close friends. We've been friends for over 15 years now. Wow. And we both started researching at the same time. So he started to look at transitioning female to male, and I started to look from male to female. And we're both just sitting and like, researching. We're watching Ballroom. I'm looking at all these girls and all these femme queens and all this other stuff. I'm just like, I could have been did this because I feel like I would have been comfortable in who I was. And I feel like I've been living in a lie for a long time. I've been living a life of others. But then I also look back and I was like, I'm happy I still went through those things. Like, I'm not one of those people who I'm like, oh, I wish I would have transitioned earlier in life. I feel like I transitioned at the right time. I feel like I became the woman of trans experience at the right time. Like, that was my time to transition. That was when I was mentally, physically, and financially ready to get in the oven and start to bake. I started going to therapy. So that was like the first thing I wanted to do. I was like, let me speak to somebody about this. Like once again, I'm somebody who does the research. So I want to talk to somebody about this and see if my feelings are not just something that this is just going to pass by again. Because I've had them before. Like growing up, I've had the same exact feeling that I had then about not feeling like I'm in the correct body, not feeling like I'm being my correct self, not feeling like I'm living truthfully. And I use modeling to mask that. So I was like, that's a way for me to still get in that lifestyle without having to change my whole life.
Have you ever talked to anybody about it when you were younger?
When I was younger, no. I never had a conversation with anybody. I never felt comfortable enough with anybody, even my parents at the time, to speak with them about it because I didn't know how to put that in words. I didn't know how to just say, I think I'm a girl, or I think I'm a girl, or is it that I want to be a girl? Like, I didn't know what it was. Like, so I was like, let me see how life goes from here and just try my best to be comfortable and confident. And like you said, a lot of people was like, oh, Harley's just so confident. Harley's just this. Harley's just that. It's like, yeah, I am. But on the inside, it's shattered glass. You know, it's a mess. Like, it's a lot. Like, y'all seen that movie Inside Out when it's all them people, and it's all them characters up there. It was a lot going on, a lot talking to me. And I used to envision myself. I remember being really, really young. And this might sound so crazy, but I used to envision myself being like, Anne-Marie and you know, Cassie and just being them girls, like, you know, and it's just like that all came back once the world shut down and my mind was able to shut down from everything else, and I was only able to focus on me. I was like, all that outside noise was gone, and I was like, bitch, now I hear myself, and I'm hearing a fucking woman. Who the hell is she, right? And so the therapy happened. I'm talking to my therapist, and I ended up getting me a good one, a nice black woman. Shout out to the black woman therapist. And she helped me through it. She coached me through things, and she let me know that what I was going through was valid, and it wasn't rare, and it wasn't different, and it wasn't to be looked down upon, and it was still respectable. And that was a lot. That was great for me to hear, especially from a black woman, a biological black woman. And I'm sitting there confused as hell on what I want to be and what I'm about to do. And so from there on, it was like, okay, let's go. Life starts over, right? You lived that life already. You went through those things for a reason, and you were growing through those things. And my life, that life that I lived, is still respectable. It's still honorable. It's still admirable. It's still, you know, everything that you want it to be. But it's time for you to begin your second, the next one. So I was like, okay, this is a clean slate for me to start over and to really live how I want to live. And I honestly feel like, China, that I missed out on so many opportunities because I wasn't myself. Now, although I did so much and the receipts are there, I feel like I would have done 10 times more if I was truly who I wanted to be this whole time. And that's why now I don't play about anything that comes my way. Like, I'm really trying to continue to shoot myself up because it's like I get a fresh start. You're starting over, bitch. What you about to do now? And so, yeah, transitioning, it's mental. So after I get through the mental, the social, you tell the people around you that love you. And see how they take it. And nobody looked at me different. Nobody looked at me side eye like, oh. People looked at me like, bitch, you been a girl to me. Like, you know, you been a girl what you thought you was. Like, you been a girl with me to me. And it's like, even when I came and told my parents and my sisters and family, of course, like they don't understand at first because it's like, you know, if you're my baby, or I raised you to be this, or I raised you to be that. And I'm just like, no, you raised me to be respectable. You raised me to be confident. You raised me to have a good head on my shoulders. You raised me to go get that college degree. You raised me to, you know, be a business owner and to be a mogul and to be these things. But you didn't raise me to be that person that I don't think I was this whole time. You know, like this is me. This is who I'm presenting myself as. And so my parents love it. You know, they love me. They comfort me. They help me. Like I said, my mom makes me dresses. So yeah, like it's a journey, and it's forever. Like, the journey doesn't stop. And that's why I want a lot of people to understand, like, once you start it too, and this is for my young femme queens out there, especially the ones in the scene that I see all the time, like, once you start that journey, it don't stop. It's forever growing. Like, even the person I am today will forever evolve to something else, and over and over and over again. And like I said, now I'm cozy. Harley's cozy. Harley wasn't cozy at first. Harley's now cozy. Like, she's here. She's arrived. So
I love it. Yeah. So let's talk about like your experience in like vetting men as a woman of the trans experience. Like, do you feel like you have to be a little bit more serious about who you are moving and shaking with? Like, how does that?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So I think that because it can be very scary. Because, you know, the life expectancy for a trans woman is 35. You know, most women of trans experience don't live past that age. So it's like, and we know why. Because, like, you know, the men are killing them. And things happen on dates or via transactions where it's like, you know, the lives are ended. So now with me, like I said, like, I am an everyday girl. Like, you know, I go outside during the daytime. And so it's different. It's a lot different because I have a lot of biological women friends. And so we all go out. We all go out to the club. When they see us, they see all women, of course. And it is all women.
Period.
It's all women and it's all there. And so they see us and, you know, we looking good, we smelling good. But for me, I sit back. Mm-hmm. Like you said, very demure, very mindful, very classy. And I've always been that type of person. Like I've never been an approacher. Like I always will get approached, even in my past life. So it's like I'm still kind of that type of person. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, when guys do approach me, you really gotta scale the situation. Yeah. And see what it is and see where we're at, see who's around, because it's like you don't want this guy to approach you and then you talking to him and then he's fine with you and then later on you gotta tell him. Yeah. Right. Or later on you gotta say something, and I'm really big on saying something because I'm proud to be a trans woman. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not hiding that. Like this is me. Like these are women. This is trans. Like I'm not scared to say it. I feel like some people are because for one, it could be a safety concern. Mm-hmm. You know, if they know that who you are and you're proud of it. Sometimes people that can make people mad. Or say for instance, if I'm at the club and a guy like hits on me or says, "Oh, you look great," blah blah, and then somebody say, "Oh, that's a trans woman," and now he mad like, "Oh shit, I'm talking." It could be a whole situation sometimes. But for me, it's I like to be upfront. Now it's time and place for upfrontness. Like if we're in the club and you trying to send me a drink, send it over. And if you want something out of me that's more than just conversation, or if you want a relationship, or if you wanted something a little bit more less of like a sexual intercourse action, that's when you tell them. You be upfront. You let them know like, hey, X, Y, Z. My baby pictures look like this. However, I look like this right now. So I'm very open about that because I don't date men that's not comfortable with themselves. Right. Not for me. So all the men I've currently in past dated have been men that are comfortable with themselves and comfortable with dating a trans woman and don't see themselves as gay for dating me. Right. Like you're not a gay man because you date me. I'm a trans woman. You could be pansexual, you could be bisexual, you could be eusexual, but you're not a gay man because you're not sleeping with a nigga. Like ain't nobody here on here. So let me ask you this question: would you date a gay man? I would, only if he did not consider himself gay for dating me. Got you. Now, if you're gay and now you're dating me, now that would make you bisexual. Okay. Now, or pansexual, or sapiosexual, whatever sexual, but you're not gay if you're with me because you're with the trans woman. Right. You're not with the gay is men on men, or women on women. Right. So it's a different bracket of respect that I like, and I only do that because I want you to respect me as such. Because if you look at a relationship and you think that you're gay for dating me, that could play a mental toll on you to a point where now you might want to kill me. You might want to murder me. I get what you're saying. It's like you thinking like, oh, I'm gay or this or that, but it's like I'll date a gay man if he doesn't see himself as gay for dating me. So how do you think the scene has responded to your transition? It depends on who we're talking about. That's a good question, right? That's a great question. I think for the most part, it's been great, especially from like the community and stuff, like the kids, like the people that used to look up to us and things like that. They get their life, they love it. They be like auntie, mother, blah blah blah. I think those older people that do sit in them chairs sometimes. One in particular, like I had to keep correcting them on who I was today versus who I used to be. It's like you in the scene, right? You've been in the scene, right? I'm not the first to transition in the scene. I'm not gonna be the last to transition in the scene. It's plenty of gay people, and you call your brother over there with that beard, she and her, but when it comes to me, it's hard for you to remember that. And I'm sitting up here gilded up and bustier and side parted, and it's hard for you to. It's hard for you to remember that I'm she and her, but your brother over there with the beard, and the haircut and the buzz cut and the muscles. It's hard. You could call him. That's she. That's my sister. But then you come over to me and it's like you can't. Oh, it's my bad. I keep forgetting. You didn't forget. So you feel like it's just disrespect. It's disrespect. Some of them do play with me. Some of them have played with me, and some of them have got played back with, and will continue to, because it's like it's this scene is forever changing. And then, like I said, like I'm not doing this just for me. It's so many other young trans women in this scene, and so many others that will transition, and even trans men in the scene that look up to my transition and how I'm going about things and how I'm, going the right way about stuff. And it's like, if you can't respect me, you really not gonna respect these babies. And behind these babies, I ride behind them. Right. I'm a ride behind these babies because they don't have somebody to ride behind them all the time. And for me, I'm confident enough to ride behind myself.
Yes.
And so you're going to respect me so that the respect can last forever.
Right.
So when this happens again, it's not hard for you to correct pronouns for somebody that looks different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you ask, you should be kind. The same way when we started talking, you make sure you knew exactly what I wanted to be called. You seen who I was, but you was like, just in case you don't like she and her, and you like they and them, or you like this one, you know, you make sure. So it's like the older people, y'all got some lessons to learn, and we're gonna teach y'all. Because it's one thing about this new generation, this current generation, we're educators when it comes to this type of stuff and being inclusive and knowing the right terms and just respecting people for who they are.
Right.
And but yeah, some of the older people definitely had to get corrected over time and time again, and disrespect has happened publicly for myself as well. I was misgendered by somebody in a post. But yeah, apologies have been given.
Okay.
And received, and I'm gracious for them, and yeah.
So when you wake up every day, like, are you starting to like physically see and like emotionally feel the transition happening, and like how does it make you feel?
It's really like done a lot. Like I see my body changing. I've seen like my face begin to change a little bit. My skin has changed. So much has just elevated, and it's still so much more room to grow and to, you know, get up from here. So even emotionally, like it's changed. I was never really an emotional person. Like I wasn't a crier.
Right.
You know, I wasn't that type of person that would get sad from watching a movie or hearing about something tragic that happened to somebody. It wouldn't make me cry. Now my emotions just overflow. And I remember my first time, like my first month of being consistent on like my hormones and my estrogen, and something had happened so small, China, like so freaking small, and I just bust out in tears, like out of nowhere. I'm just like, I had thought myself like, this shit is really fucking working.
Welcome, bitch. Welcome.
I had to look. I'm like, this shit is really fucking working. Girl. So it's definitely when I wake up, I've seen everything change, and I just can't wait to continue to evolve and grow and just become the more Robyn, more and more Robyn.
You definitely look great.
Thank you.
I feel like you've always presented beautifully.
Thank you.
Since way before,
Thank
right?
you.
Like, so you already know, like, when you start taking the pills,
right?
It's over with, bitch. Before I even started, I was that girl. So like, what's the worst thing?
And that's so funny because I was like the other day, like I was with one of my friends. I'm like, I was looking at some of my old pictures. I was like, God damn, I was fine.
Bitch, been sitting.
And bitch, I'm
sitting.
Bitch.
Sitting. Do you feel like you're able to be vulnerable with the other trans women in our scene, and have they embraced you in your journey?
I was so scared about that.
Okay.
I was so scared about that part. And I don't know why that scared me more than anything else, more than even living everyday life. I was more so scared about in our scene, like the way that the other women, not even just the other trans women, the other women period too, but just look at me and how they was respect me different. But definitely with the other women of trans experience, I was afraid that they would feel like now it's like a competition type of thing. Because you know how us girls are. Like sometimes, you know, we see another girl, it's like, okay, she next up for real? Like, okay, whatever. But they have definitely embraced me.
Good.
Shout out to Classy, my sister. Shout out to Bella, the icons. But yeah, they've definitely embraced me and shown me love. Like Classy, even when recently, like we were preparing for her August ball, she stopped. She's like, bitch, you look beautiful. She's like, since you've been on your mouth. And I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I have. She was like, you look gorgeous. Like, and I was like, wow, that means so much coming from you. Like that right there was like over for me. Over for anything else. Like, fuck it. Because once again, that's somebody who I've been looked up to. And then the fact that, like, I looked up to her in so many different forms, and now I looked up to her transition, and now she's, like, giving me my life for mine. It's like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Like, so, yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, shout out to the icons.
So, what does your legendary status mean to you, and what was your experience becoming legend?
Okay, being a legend, it means a lot. It does mean a lot to me. I'm definitely grateful and thankful that, you know, people have seen that I put in the work to be legend and to be at that status and to come to that point to be idolized in those ways. I think the way that I received it was very, like,
Girl.
So. Like, I wish I would have. I got mine in Philly.
Okay.
Technically, I was supposed to get it at Love Chronicles that February at Flowers High School in PG County, which would have been great. It would have been perfect. Like, this is my original stomping ground. I'm becoming a legend at the place that made me legend. So I don't know what the hold up was, but my plaque still says that date versus the new date. So I don't know if it was any back and forth with the icons and how they felt about my status, but like it was even talked about in 2020 when I became a superstar, and it was like, oh yeah, they was talking about me becoming a legend. They had me submit pictures and resumes and this and that. I was like, okay, it's my time. I'm like, okay, it's a little early. I'm like, okay, they probably like a year or two shy early. It's fine, but I do feel legend, so I was ready. And I ended up becoming a superstar, and that was great. I was happy. I was really gracious for that. And so once I got my legendary status, I was like, okay, it's time. Like, I've been felt legend at that point. And I feel like that's the goal. Like, you want to feel legendary before you become that legend. And so I feel like, okay, I've done enough to really deserve this. And that's my biggest thing. Like, I really want to deserve my status. So I feel like it's a lot of people who kind of just receive things. But that's why I feel like it's a difference in being legend and legendary.
Period.
And icon and iconic. So it's like, I feel legendary. Like, I feel like, no matter if I stop today, it's still something to talk about. It's still some people that will come through and bring back the essence of Hollywood in some way, some form. And so I feel like I did what needs to be done to be legend.
I think that you being a legend is definitely fitting and definitely well deserved. I think that you might be the first woman of the trans experience to be a CEO of a company. If I'm not wrong about that.
Yeah,
I think
believe
I'm right about that.
Yeah.
Your confidence is probably top number one in the scene. Like,
I appreciate that.
You don't never have to worry about not getting a motherfucking performance out of me. You know what I'm saying? And that's legendary.
Yeah.
To me, legendary is being known for a specific thing, and nobody else can do it.
Nobody else can do it. Yeah.
You're legendary. Thank you.
Yeah.
For again being so vulnerable, being so sweet, being so nice. Okay, because you know we did not start off great in our journey getting to know each other, but life. And here we are today. Sitting together.
Looking gorgeous.
Sitting together, having a great conversation. You are definitely a legend.
Thank you.
You are definitely pushing the pen, building superstars, building other legends, building other parts of your company. And those are all legendary things.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you and being your authentic self, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of strength.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be here for you in any capacity that means. You know, we talked about some things about leadership stuff. And I just want the best for you.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very, very proud of you. I want to ask you this last thing. If you have anything to say to those who might have felt like they were living in a space where they didn't feel comfortable in their own skin, what would you say to them? You could look at that.
For all of my beautiful people out there, be honest, be true to yourself, love on yourself, because you are all you have at the end of the day. So definitely, if you want to live this life, and it's worth living. And it's worth living if you're living the right way, if you're living how you want to live. So definitely, like, just hone into yourself, seek therapy. I coach that down. Like, definitely have somebody to talk to and to grow, and trusting that process, sitting back and learning yourself, and the same research I do for everything else. Research who you are, love on yourself, and know that it's worth more than just like not being you. Be you and put you first at all times.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I got some flowers for you. I just wanted to say thank you for having me. Congratulations on your show.
Nobody has done this for me.
Demir. But yes, congratulations on your show, for having me on your platform and sharing this with me, because this is major. This is special. And you're the only icon I see doing the groundwork right now like this. And so I really appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Means a lot. Are you ready to play Fast Money?
I am.
Here we go. Flats or pumps?
Pumps.
Bella or Angel?
Angel.
Sindel or Blade?
Sit down.
Reggie or Zeta?
Reggie's my husband. Reggie.
Competition or showcase?
Competition.
Ink or UC?
UC.
Envy or vanity?
Vanity. I'm here for the new people.
All right, that's it, girl.
Thank you.
We are done. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, love.
All right, guys. We will see you next time.